The Filibuster by Han Xian. Today's Dark Shown episode is finally here, and let me get started talking to you for a while. Hang on tight, because today we're gonna go filibustering. I can't believe they let me say that. Ugh, a virus. Antivirus. Yep, cover it up. Thank you. Contain it, please. Yes, thank you. Alright, so today let's talk about the filibuster. Great! Okay, looks like it's ready, and final blow! Yes! So let's get started. Cue the intro! The filibuster. What? Oh no. We'll let the antivirus deal with that, and let's get started. Now, what is a filibuster, you ask? Well, the filibuster is one amazing object that has been in use for thousands of years. Containment. Yikes. Finally, revealing my face. Awesome. So, the filibuster. What is it? Let me try to explain it more fully without consideration with the notes. The filibuster is, as in the definition of Wiktionary, I'm not exactly quoting it, but I'm pretty sure it says that it is a powerful legislative device in the U.S. Senate. Now, why not in the U.S. Representatives? Oh, I'll get to that in a while. Actually, in a moment. What is the filibuster? Well, to understand it, let me just tell you a quick thing about the modern day filibuster. Now, there used to be this. Today, this is what happens. People in the Senate needs a 2/3 vote, speaking of which, it has now been reformed into the 3/5 vote. So, you need 3/5 of the people of the Senate to stop debating. And then, well, after that, you can just have a simple majority to start voting and get the vote. But this wasn't always the case. Then, what was? Let's consider that question in today's Dark Shown episode. So, let's go. But before we go into the origins, let's start talking about the modern-day Senate and the House of Representatives. Now, the filibuster actually broke the Senate, but we'll get to that later. This is the Senate, and this is the House of Representatives. But let's start talking about the Senate today. Now, currently, while I'm making this, the Senate looks like this. Now, remember, each state has 2 senators, no matter what. And so there has to be a total of 100 senators, and just in case there's a 50-50 of the majority and the minority, then the leader will make the majority and the minority. So it turns out currently 50 of these guys, 50 of the senators are Democratic, and 50 of the others are Republicans. 2 of them are actually independent, making them Democrats were 48, but the independents are more like onto the Democrat side. You can check the citations for that. But then this is equal, 50-50. So in this case, leaders will come in to break the tie. And since in the case of today's administration of Joe Biden, the vice president is also a Democrat, so that makes the Democrat a majority. Speaking of presidents, I'll probably be making videos about each of the individual presidents anyway, so watch out for that. Well, we've been doing a lot of U.S. history recently, but I'm planning to go to U.S. anyway, so it makes sense. It's perfect practice. And so that is the Senate. What about the House of Representatives? Well, the House of Representatives currently look like this. There are 435 seats. The majority of them has 220, which is the Democrats. The minority has 213. What about the rest of the 2? Because the Democrats and the Republicans make up 435. Well, it turns out those 2 are called vacant spots. Also on the chart, there are 3 of them, so I'm kind of confused here. Okay, that's way better. And that's kind of one of the other things I could actually go on and on and on about. But taking that aside, there's not much more to really talk about. And now let's get into the Senate of 1805. Basically, it's the drawing right behind there. I got this picture from the website Vox. It's actually a pretty good website. I recommend it highly. They have their own YouTube channel, by the way. So go check it out. Also, their Darkroom series inspired this Darkthrone series. So, a shout out to Vox. And I usually use their website and videos for information and research anyway, so good. I'll put in the list of citations at the end of the video. And now we're back at the black screen again. And now let me explain fully what the Senate of 1805's ruling was like. So there were still 2 votes. But before the voting, they had a big debate. And this is basically what they did. So they talked and talked and talked and talked until a simple majority decided to stop it. 51 people was enough to stop debate. After stopping debate, this is what happens. Then they have another simple majority to go pass the law or not. And then a guy named Aaron Burr came along, and this guy would kind of reared his ugly head a lot. And this guy was, a guy who everyone kind of calls stupid Aaron Burr. Yeah, I'm going to call him stupid. And he was the vice president at the time, and this is what he did. He came up to the Senate and said that the Senate doesn't need all this debate, and they need all this debate, and they can have as much debate as they want. So, this is what they did. They got rid of the voting to end debate. And now, the Senate can have unlimited debate. And no one, and when I say no one, literally no one can stop it. And this is kind of a problem. And this is the start of the filibuster. So this is the chart of the last 100 years used for the filibuster by Congress. This is also from Vox, by the way. Shout out to them. They're a pretty good channel. And they weren't used as much for a while since World War II, but then they increasingly started getting used. Why is that? Well, let me answer that question. Let's zoom in here. Now, right about here, until the start of the 1950s, I think it was around there, people were like, yeah, I don't think so. And they really didn't have a use for the filibuster. They didn't really need to use the filibuster. And this is kind of bad. And also the filibuster had its limits. There's even a whole documentary in one scene where a guy was like, filibustering, and then suddenly, phew, ugh, whee. And then everyone else in the crowds were like, well, watching him fall, until he landed on the ground. Sump. But then we get to the 1950s, and this is when Southern people start considering civil rights bills. And Southern Democrats do not like it, but they don't really have the numbers to actually block it, at least during this time. And so, you know what they use? They started using the filibuster, which led to this. And then in the 2000s, in the start of the 2000s, the people started realizing something. That they can win more politically by just fighting and not cooperating. And so they start going filibustering almost every bill. And nowadays, filibustered a billing means that bill is going to get killed. That bill will not be passed at all. At least there's a very, very low chance of it getting passed. But then in the 2020 election, Democrats started giving out some advices for change. But I'll tell you a story before that. This guy, let me tell you a record. This guy called Strom Surford, I should have said this earlier, in 1957, Strom, yes, that's his name, Sermond, filibustered the 1957 Civil Rights Bill for over 24 hours straight. And some people have reported him dehydrating in the bathroom right before the filibustering so that he didn't need to go to the bathroom during the filibuster. Wow. He filibustered over a day, guys. But what about the new Southern Democrats? Like Elizabeth Warren, a Southern Democrat. No, not a Southern Democrat. Just a Democrat candidate for the president decided to try to run, and then other people like Joe Biden started running, and now we know that Joe Biden is the president of the United States. But what did he do? Well, people start calling him to do the nuclear option, a term that is used to end the filibuster, which is like a nuclear war or something. Nowadays, the people don't even need to debate. They can just threaten to it. And nowadays, you don't need a 2/3 majority. And here's how that originated. Woodrow Wilson came and hey, I want you to sign this. And they're like, no, we're gonna filibuster. And he mad. And they compromised a 2/3 vote to end it. And then they changed it to the 3/5 vote to make it harder to filibuster. But it made no change at all. So now Joe Biden, what does he do? Well, according to several sources, which included Vox, CNN, the Texas Tribune, the Washington Post, Wikipedia, Wiktionary, Time Magazine, this isn't related to the filibuster, by the way, I just found this online, the New York Times, The Guardian, PBS, and finally, CBS, all these sources I used to find out about what Joe Biden did in 2022 about the filibuster. And you know what? It was what? Oh, wait, what is here? Why is that here? And there was nothing exactly what happened. I searched up results from January, March, June. I think one that was on July. All of them said that Joe Biden was considering to end the filibuster, and we're nearing the end of 2022. In this week, I'm uploading this. December is coming this week, so we're gonna go to our last month. By the way, Christmas is coming, so yay! But let's ignore that. Joe Biden practically is considering to do something, and so that's the end. But here's one more story about the filibuster. The filibuster was once in the House of Representatives. When the Republicans had the majority, this is the current version. When the Republicans had the majority, Democrats started using the filibuster to block laws. So you know what happened? The Republicans destroyed it. And now today, Democrats have control of the presidency, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. So the Democrats are in a perfect position to end the filibuster. So why do they don't? Well, that's a topic we'll probably be discussing another time, or we'll never be discussing at all. But until then, see you soon. If you want a more briefer general description of the filibuster, I highly recommend my US politics video series, part 3 out of 3. You can find it in my channel homepage. See you guys soon. Shunhan out. Peace. Dun, 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 dun.